3I/ATLAS just broke every rule of space physics. It suddenly accelerated with 660 million newtons of force. Yet there's no debris, no explosion, no sign of what caused it. That's 9 starships worth of thrust from a comet that shouldn't even move like this. So what's really driving it? A natural outburst? Or an engineered propulsion system hiding in plain sight? Let's dive right in. 3I/ATLAS just did the impossible. 660 million newtons, but no debris. For months, 3I/ATLAS looked ordinary, just another icy traveler passing through our solar system. But then, something changed. It suddenly accelerated. No warning, no explosion, no visible cause. Yet the data was undeniable. Astronomers ran the numbers, and what they found didn't just surprise them. It broke physics. The comet's speed had increased with a non-gravitational acceleration of 0.02 millimeters per second squared. That might sound small, but not when the object weighs 33 billion metric tons. To move something that massive, even slightly, requires 660 million newtons of force. That's 9 starships firing at full throttle for an entire day. But 3I/ATLAS has no engines, no exhaust, no debris, nothing that explains how this could happen. So the question now haunting astronomers is simple. What just pushed an interstellar rock like that? At first, scientists thought it might just be ordinary outgassing, frozen gases heating up near the sun and bursting out, nudging the object along. It's a reasonable idea, until you run the math. Typical comet outgassing produces maybe a few thousand newtons of thrust, 10,000 at best. This wasn't thousands, it was hundreds of millions. And that's when everything stopped making sense. If natural jets really caused this, 3I/ATLAS would have had to eject 1/6 of its total mass in a single burst. A violent event that would leave a glowing debris cloud easily visible from Earth. But telescopes saw nothing. No fragments, no plumes, not even a shimmer of dust. It moved and left no trace of how. What's even stranger is when it happened. For months, 3I/ATLAS had been calm, stable, predictable. Then, almost overnight, it changed direction, precisely, cleanly, as if the acceleration had been planned. There was no gradual build-up, no visible chaos, just a subtle, constant push. That precision is what unsettled experts, because randomness doesn't behave like that. Even Harvard astrophysicist Avi Loeb, who famously argued that Oumuamua might have been artificial, admitted that 3I/ATLAS makes even less physical sense. And the more scientists examined it, the stranger it got. Its brightness changed, dramatically. It shifted from white to blue. Not icy blue like a frozen comet, but deep electric blue, hotter than the sun's surface. Let that sink in. Something colder than space suddenly glowing brighter and hotter than a star. If it were a natural reaction, the spectrum should have turned red, the color of cooler gases burning off. But instead, 3I/ATLAS went the other way. It heated up, and that blue wasn't just color, it was energy. Spectroscopic analysis revealed another oddity, the polarization of its light, how the light waves aligned after reflecting off its surface. Normally, comets scatter light irregularly because their surfaces are rough, dusty, chaotic. 3I/ATLAS didn't. Its polarization curve was narrow, clean, uniform, the kind of reflection you'd expect from something smooth, possibly metallic. In other words, it looked less like a comet and more like a crafted object. And that's when people started whispering the question nobody wants to say out loud. What if it's not natural? Before we go there, let's be fair. There are natural explanations still on the table. Some scientists suggest a chemical composition of exotic ices, maybe pure hydrogen or nitrogen, could account for the force if they vaporized quickly enough. But those materials can't survive near the sun. They disintegrate instantly. Yet 3I/ATLAS endured. It didn't just endure, it adapted. Observers even noticed an anti-tail, a faint stream of particles pointing toward the sun. That shouldn't be possible. Tails always point away, pushed by solar radiation. The only known way to create that illusion is if an object reflects light in a highly directed way, or emits radiation from within. Both would suggest controlled energy, not chaos. So the mystery deepens. If it's not outgassing, and it's not disintegrating, then something else must be generating the push. Here's where the data turns from strange to almost unsettling. If that 660 million Newton thrust came from propulsion, even low-power ion or plasma engines, it would imply technology capable of sustaining immense acceleration with perfect stability. No wobble, no breakup, just precision. That's the kind of performance we only dream of achieving with nuclear or fusion drives. And yet, 3I/ATLAS did it, quietly, effortlessly, in the blackness of space. Now, think back to 2017, Oumuamua. It also accelerated without visible outgassing, defied every natural model, and then disappeared into the void. Many dismissed it as a cosmic coincidence. But what if it wasn't? What if these aren't isolated events, but related ones? Imagine this. Somewhere out there, a civilization sends small, self-propelled probes between stars. They travel for centuries, drifting silently, harvesting energy from starlight. When they enter a system, they adjust course, maybe to study, maybe to observe. To us, they look like comets. But sometimes, they move. 3I/ATLAS could be one of them. Now, let's not jump to conclusions. Science isn't built on excitement. It's built on evidence. But absence of proof isn't proof of absence. And right now, every natural explanation demands more imagination than the artificial one. Because if a comet that massive suddenly releases enough force to equal 9 starships and leaves no trace, then either physics just changed, or we're witnessing something designed. The question isn't whether it's alien. The question is, what purpose does such an object serve? Why accelerate so precisely? Why now? Maybe it's maneuvering. Maybe it's aligning for communication. Or maybe it's simply maintaining a trajectory it's followed for millennia, a probe running on ancient code. Whatever it is, it's not behaving randomly. It's doing something. And that alone makes it worth watching. Right now, telescopes are tracking every flicker of light from 3I/ATLAS. Experts are waiting to see if it accelerates again, or if it suddenly veers off course. Because if it does, we'll have confirmation that what we're seeing isn't a dying comet, but a functioning machine. And if that's true, it would mean that somewhere, out there in the dark, something once built it, and it's still alive enough to move. That's not science fiction. That's data we can't explain. So, the real story of 3I/ATLAS isn't about aliens or rockets. It's about humility. It's about facing the fact that, even after centuries of exploration, we still don't fully understand our own cosmic neighborhood. Maybe this isn't a comet. Maybe it's a reminder that the universe still has surprises waiting, and they don't always play by our rules. If 3I/ATLAS moves again, everything changes. It won't just be another strange comet. It'll be proof that something out there can manipulate forces far beyond our reach. Whether it's a natural phenomenon we don't yet understand or the echo of technology from another civilization, this is a turning point for science. And for us, what do you think? Is 3I/ATLAS just a comet or a message written in motion? Drop your thoughts below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this with someone who loves mysteries that challenge what we think we know. Stay curious, stay alert, and join me in the next report right here on Galactic Breaking News, where space stops being silent. On October 29th, 2025, as 3I/ATLAS reached perihelion, astronomers witnessed the impossible. The comet turned blue instead of red. NASA's data confirmed a sudden spectral shift no known comet model could explain. Was it extreme chemistry, radiation damage, or evidence of something never seen before in our solar system? One thing's certain, this changes everything. Let's dive right in. The moment 3I/ATLAS brushed past the sun, everything we thought we knew about comets began to unravel. Instead of fading into the familiar orange-red hue of heat and dust, it flashed blue, a spectral, electric blue that cut through the darkness like a pulse from another world. And in that instant, telescopes across the solar system began to question reality itself. At first, astronomers did what scientists always do. They doubted their own instruments. Maybe a calibration error, maybe solar glare confused the sensors. But as data streamed in from NASA's SOHO, STEREOA, and GOES-19 satellites, each confirming the same thing, the doubts turned into disbelief. The signal was real. 3I/ATLAS had somehow turned bluer than the sun itself. Comets aren't supposed to behave this way. When ice sublimates near the sun, blue light scatters first, leaving the object warmer in color. But 3I/ATLAS did the opposite. Its brightness surged, its spectrum shifted, and its water loss skyrocketed 40-fold in less than a month. 5.7 times 10 to the 28th power water molecules per second. That's a fire hose of vapor blasting into space, enough to fill a swimming pool every millisecond. And yet, the most shocking part wasn't how bright it became. It was what wasn't there. No dust tail, no glowing arc trailing behind it, like every comet we've ever seen. Just an elongated, ghostly blue form, moving in silence. Scientists tried to explain it. Some proposed that the comet's surface had been insulated by a layer of frozen carbon dioxide. That layer, they said, might have shielded the water ice below until it suddenly broke apart under extreme solar radiation. When it did, the ice underneath would have vaporized explosively, releasing vast plumes of gas, bright, clean, and dustless. It was a solid theory, but it didn't quite fit. The timing was too perfect, the intensity too precise. As one researcher put it, it's like the comet knew exactly when to ignite. To understand that, we need to look deeper, literally. Because 3I/ATLAS isn't a normal visitor. It didn't form in our solar system. It came from the void between stars, carrying the scars of that endless journey.